Welcome everyone to Buildstream, where we explore projects from the Celestia ecosystem and learn about their whatever in terms of what they're building. In Buildstream number 4, we're going to be learning about how to build a reprediction market using Rollkit with Celestia underneath. My name is Josh. I'm from Celestia Labs, and I'm excited to welcome Yarik and Manav from Rollkit. Today, they'll be guiding us through building that reprediction market and helping us learn about what it's doing and how you could build something like this of your own. So a few notes, feel free to ask questions in the chat. We'll get to them during the stream. All of the source code will be linked on GitHub in the video description. So yeah, let's get started with some introductions and start understanding what this project's going to be. So first, Rollkit. Rollkit is a way to build unstoppable apps. Manav, can you introduce yourself and then briefly describe what Rollkit does?
Hey everyone, Manav from the Rollkit team. Rollkit, like as Josh mentioned, is we call it the unstoppable stack. So it's kind of the framework for you to build, go from you kind of define the whole pipeline from how you go from blobs on Celestia to any random sort of state that you would like to go to. So it kind of has a bunch of these components to customize all of these things on how you go from blobs to a set of transactions to how you interpret those transactions in a state machine, and then to come to a new state. So it kind of Rollkit is like the stack for you to define the entire thing. And what makes it unstoppable, kind of the angle is since these apps are directly on a DA layer like Celestia, right? And that is that since the liveness properties of that this app is directly related to the liveness properties of the liveness properties of Celestia are, since people can just directly post transactions on Celestia. So you can kind of capture the full spectrum of how what build whatever really means. So you can think of it as like the toolkit to build whatever.
Awesome. And I definitely fumbled the intro a little bit. We're going to explore projects from teams building whatever, and we're going to learn about what that whatever is. So yeah, thank you for getting to that. And then specifically, we're going to build an unstoppable app today, but we're going to be building a reprediction market. I feel like prediction markets are pretty hot, but I've never heard of a reprediction market. Yarik, what are we doing today?
Hi everyone. Yeah, I work on Rollkit as well. Reprediction market is a simple app. It's more like an example app which could be built using Horizontal Rollkit, settle on Celestia. The app itself allows you to place bets on the odds of the elections, and when the election is done, you can claim your winnings. Basically, it's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, I'd say.
So you're kind of predicting where the prediction market would go to. That's why it's called like a reprediction.
Yes.
I guess.
Meta prediction market. Nice.
Yeah.
So on that note, I think we're ready to get started, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, let me share my screen then, and I'll walk us through this. Okay.
And a reminder to anyone watching, if you want to drop questions in the chat, feel free to do so, and we'll get to them, as it makes sense. Whoa.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there are a few components we need to take care of. First, we want to start the Celestia Light node, which would allow us to perform data availability sampling, and we're going to do this on the Mocha testnet. So this is the doc Celestia org. This is the tutorial for how to set up Celestia Light node. you gotta have it installed, built. I did it already, so I can just run some commands, for example, init, and then I have my own key. So with the faucet funds, with the funds received from the faucet, and the way I start the node itself. So let's do Celestia init Mocha. Okay. Now,
And I guess for people who aren't clear, Mocha is a testnet, right?
yeah, Mocha is a testnet.
Nice.
Now I have a key which is not my Celestia key, but I guess it's called YBAC or YB test. I don't remember. YB test, I guess. Let's try. Okay. Okay, seems like we have it running. No issues, no warnings, no errors. Let's move on. Okay, some warnings.
Definitely working.
Yeah, but no errors. So warnings, valid network header. That's okay. Okay, now let's get to how do we connect it to our app. So the app itself would be running on the Artella Rollkit repository. So it's a Rollkit with a Artella Rollkit with a Git as execution client, which will have a Rollkit as a consensus and will send the blocks, post the blocks to the DA. So
Can I
for that,
interrupt you real quick? Could you zoom in on this, please?
okay, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Perfect.
Yeah, for that, we're going to take this repository, Artella network, Artella Rollkit, the main branch. We're going to clone it. I have it already. And we will spin it up. And to do that, we also need some setup for connecting it to the DA. And here we have, let me zoom in again. Okay, here we have at Rollkit Dev, we have a tutorial for how to deploy a rollup or an app to Celestia. So for that,
And in this case, the rollup and the app are the same thing, right?
Yeah. It's the same thing, basically. And TLDR would be that we need to provide these 4 flags to the binary, to the start command. We need to get the auth token, namespace, block height, and DA address, and also a Rollkit aggregator for the signature. So let's do it. Let's follow this tutorial. So we have light node running. Okay, let's try to get DA block height, auth token, but this one is for Arabica, so we wanna change it to Mocha, and let's print it. Okay, there is a key, auth token. The DA namespace is the default one. Let's just export it. Okay, the DA address is the default one as well. Okay, and now we have it. Okay, so let's just let me copy all these flags. Yeah, I'll copy start as well. I'm gonna first build it. So let me go to Artella Rollkit. So I cloned the repository. Cool. Here I have everything, and there is a init script. So init script allows you to set up the app state, app genesis, and all the config for the app. I'm gonna leave this as it is right now, but I could have a few keys. I could have rename it. So what's happening here? We create the key. We add it to the genesis. We allocate genesis accounts. And sign the transaction. And the rest is some validator stuff and some configs for the genesis. This may be refactored later, but okay. So first, I'm gonna build the binary itself using Ignite chain build.
And this is the same way you'd build any Cosmos SDK chain, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So
Okay.
Artella Rollkit is like an EVM on top of Cosmos SDK. And Rollkit right now works with the Cosmos SDK with this interface called ABCI. So
And you can scaffold a Rollkit app from Cosmos SDK now, right? Or from Ignite, rather.
yes.
Yeah.
Exclusively.
Okay. Now let me try to start it like this. Did I miss anything? Yeah, probably worth mentioning that. What?
Did you set the namespace?
I think I did. Let's check it. Yes, I did.
Okay.
The default home would be.
So that was all set up with the init script. I see.
Yeah. So the default home for the app would be my home and our troll directory. So I'm gonna run the init script right now, and it will create the config for me at my current directory, which I will copy to the home. Okay, filelet is valid genesis. Cool. Now I'm gonna remove my previous from home and copy to home. Let's see if it's there. Control config genesis. Okay, it's there. So we have one key. So if I do info, so there is a command under the Artella Rollkit D, which is a Cosmos command. It says I have a key ring test, and I have the name of the key, and I'm gonna get the address and the private key.
Nice.
With the signing algo for ETH. So what I want to do right now is start it using start. So.
And why do you need that key to start it?
No, I just printed it for myself to use it from the contract. So when I do the deployment of contracts on Geth, I will use as a deployer this key, basically.
Yep, makes sense.
Okay, let's try to start it. Okay, what we see here is logs for blogs, and now we also see over here that the Geth module has started at port 8545. And now I also want to see the blogs being posted to the DA, actually finalized.
So now we're making EVM blocks on a rollup.
Yep. This just starts a EVM rollup.
Nice.
On Celestia Mocha.
So it's basically like blank slate to do whatever you want with to basically tailor out for your app. Nice.
Yes.
Okay, so I don't see any issues with the light node, and I see the logs for submitting blocks to the DA layer. Okay.
Nice.
Okay, and I'm gonna leave it. So we have it running. We have the port 8545 open for the RPC, and now let's work on the reproduction market itself. So I'm gonna go to market. Yes. Okay, here the contract. So we don't have UI right now, but we only have the like CLI interface. So first, I want to walk us through the code real quick through the contract itself. So election prediction market is the name of it. So we have, okay, I think this should be 23, I guess, 59. I'm not sure if the date is correct, actually, but it doesn't
pretend
matter.
it is. It's all good. Yeah.
Let's pretend. So the market, the name of election, the pool size, whether it's resolved or not, who was the winner, and the bets pools, basically. So odds for Democrats, odds for Republicans, which is just the difference of 100. Yeah. So we assume that there are no other, and the date for the last update, the bet itself, party which you bet.
Just to reiterate, what's going on here, I think, is like, I don't know if we stated it, is like users can kind of are predicting where the odds of prediction would go of the, I think, the market, which is the election market right now, right?
Yeah.
So they would go for that. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The amount, whether it's claimed or not, and the list of user bets. Then we have few events, the constructor. So this is basically a simple Solidity smart contract, which could be done by anyone. So I'm just gonna walk through it. So we have a bet token. So we're gonna deploy some ERC20 token for the bettings, just for using it as the source of funds, basically.
Yep.
Election name, odds, yeah, as I said, and that's it. Okay, so this is the function for the Oracle, which will update the odds. So this will be done every minute, I guess. Every minute, we will get the Democrat odds, calculate the Republican odds, timestamp, and that's it. So the function for placing bet itself.
Where are we going to get those odds? I feel like we haven't covered that.
Yeah. We're gonna get it from the public API,
Nice.
I guess, Celestia API. I'll get to it in a minute. Let's get through the placing bets. I'll make it a little smaller. Placing bets. So we check if market is resolved, full sizes, and then we push the user bet. Emit event as well. Resolution of the market, where we specify the winner, and the claim winning, where the winning is calculated over here. So basically, the winning is calculated by taking the same percentage as person betted for the winner party, taking the same percentage from the losing party, editing to what he bet, and this would be the total winning, basically. Okay. Get market info is just to view, so get the odds and the bets. Get user bets is the view to get user bets, and pretty much it. So as you said, we're gonna have an Oracle and take the data from the internet. So for that, I created a small bash script called like this. So this is just a loop which every 60 seconds takes the result from here. Okay, but this has to be, maybe if I make it smaller, it will fit just to jump on it. Okay, so let's see. Okay, wait a second. No, okay. Yeah, so this is taken from the API Celestia.com. The markets, this is the ticker name for Kamala Harris, and there is a last price value. So last price is the odds, basically 45%. And so if we have 45% here, we know that 55% for the Republicans. So if I go to Celestia.com, yeah, this is it. So 55% for Republicans and 45% for Kamala Harris. Okay, let's get back to the script. We also have here a helper script, market CH, which I'm going to get through in a minute. And here we just get that last price I mentioned for the Democrats. So first, let's deploy the contract, the bet token. This is just ERC20 token. Okay, and deploy. I think I have a forge script for that. Create. Okay, it's really hard to see anything. Okay, So, and we also want to make sure the private key is the same. Private key, okay. So we have the env here, which has the private key. So using the key info command, we want to take, okay, something's really with my terminal. Let's try it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we want to take these two and put them for the owner to the address of the .env over here. Is it the same? Actually, no, it's not the same. So and owner address, I guess. Yeah. We will also update the values for the token and for the market. Okay, now let's try to create it again. Okay, we specify that we have 100 million tokens minted. Specify the RPC and the private key. Private key is because I did not export it, I guess. So let's try it again. Okay, so we see that the contract was deployed to this address. So let's update the .env. Like this.
I've never seen someone hop around Vim so quickly.
What?
I've never seen someone hop around Vim so quickly. Nice.
That's... Okay, shall we check if it's deployed? Just want to check the code. Okay, so the token is there. Now let's get through. We have a script for deploying the market, deploying prediction market. What it does, basically, it gets the instance of that token from the address, and it creates the election prediction market with a 50% odds initial, and its name is 2024 US presidential election. Let's try to deploy. I think I have the deployment script for that. Yeah. So
why
this
does
is
it
just
start at? Why does it start at 50? Is that just to like set it?
Yeah. It will be updated the first cycle of the Oracle.
Okay.
So we just need to start from something. Okay. Here we have the script for deployment. Deploy prediction market. Let's try to run it. Let's see if it works. Okay. Seems like it worked. It worked, and this is the address we want to put to the market address. And the source .env. Okay. Okay. So we have the token deployed. We have the market deployed. Now let's try to get any view. So I'll get through this helper script I have, which is a small bash script. What it does, basically, let's get through the end. Yeah, so it has a few commands, like updating odds for the Oracle, the resolution of the market, the bet, like placing bet, and some views. Okay, so let's try to get the view actually. Market info. Is it info actually? Yeah. Market info. Okay, so this is invalid and time. So nothing, none of bet in the pool. Now let's start the Oracle that will update the odds. Okay, seems like it did. 45. I'm gonna get to another terminal and I want to check the info if it was updated. Okay, seems like it was updated. Now market info. Okay, so the odds are updated right now.
Nice.
Let's check if it's valid. Still the same.
Looks like what it is on there.
Yeah, it's still the same. Okay. Okay. Now I'm gonna try placing my bet. So for that, I'm gonna use market, get user bets. I guess get user bets is a view, and it gets me nothing. So I don't have any bets. I'm gonna bet. Okay, I need to specify the party would be 0 for Democrats, and how much I want to bet. Let's say $100, $100. Let's try. Okay,
100 fake bet tokens, I think, right?
Yeah, 100
Yeah.
tokens.
Nice.
And not a dollars, but not a stables, but just bet tokens. You're right. So I have one, and I'm gonna place another one for Republicans, for example, $100 as well. 100 bet tokens as well. Yeah. Okay. Let's get user bets. Okay, so we have bets,
Nice.
and let's get the market info. Okay, first I want to also check if everything's fine here. Okay, what is this? This was the wrong key I used, so this is not an issue anymore. And the Celestia light node is up and running. Okay, so blocks are being posted, I guess. Yeah, creating publishing blocks. Okay, everything's fine. And here we have already 3 cycles of the updating odds. So Oracle is working. We placed bets. Now we can try to resolve the market. What's the command?
Resolve.
Yeah, resolve. Right. Okay, expected 1. Yeah, I think I forgot to provide for resolve. What are the results? Let's say 0 for Democrats. Election not ended. Okay, so we can resolve it. Yeah, I think this is it. So
yeah, makes sense.
This is just a demo. So in real life, we could have done pretty good logic in there, put into the contract, etc., etc. The point is to demonstrate that the way we build a smart contract, the old way, is the same as you can spin up your own chain, your own app using Artel EVM and Rollkit and Celestia as a DA. So that's it, pretty much, I guess.
Yeah, so I guess like some notes that I know that you were planning on building this to be a little bit more integrated into the rollup. Yeah, can you briefly just talk about how that was meant to be done?
Yeah. So this is a very naive approach with this Oracle as a bash script. It is a possible, but it is a possibility to do this the way it should be done, through the integration of the Oracle sidecar process and plus the modules, Cosmos SDK modules, like for the Oracle and for the market map. For example, Skips Connect, and I tried to do it actually, but then I realized that it would take too long, and I was wanted to shoot for something simpler. But if I wanted to do it, I would just go through the Connect, I guess. Skip. Over here, for example, we have the integration. We have a good guide which allows you to set it up and to spin up the Connect sidecar itself. Connect sidecar plus integration of these modules, Oracle and Market Map, into your app. So, and plus you need to set up the ABCI method where you wanna, the pre-block where you wanna update the market. Basically fetch the odds from different APIs, like for example, Polymarket API in this case, and have updated the contract from the SDK. So you would want to build generate the APIs from the Solidity and include it into the Go code before building. Use it into the deploy contracts there as well, so you can deploy them in the init chainer, and then in a pre-blocker just call the methods from this API that you have.
Nice.
So what's going on here? Like the difference is basically right now there is the Oracle is like, in order to update the Oracle, you are putting the transactions just like periodically. You're just submitting normal transactions. And what this skip connect would allow you to do is like it inserts in during the block building process itself, you will insert transactions top of the block. So even if like there's a lot of activity and there's congestion on the chain, your Oracle price updates never really get they always top of the block, so they're always there, and they never like not make it into the block. So they don't get affected by the congestion. So that's like the main, I guess, thing you get from this from this more sophisticated approach.
Nice. And maybe I guess in the next one we can play around with it on some other market, because I think the election will be over by then. Hopefully. So I guess I noticed that you're using Kalshi. And that was actually like surprising to me because I've never heard of Kalshi. I've heard of Polymarket. I've heard of some other ones that exist out there. So I'm kind of like curious from someone watching who's wondering themselves, like, why would you want to build something like this? And the follow-up question there is, could you build something like an aggregator for like a bunch of different prediction markets or something like that?
And there are many markets here in Kalshi. Go to this selection. No. Well, first of all, why did I choose Kalshi? So I was looking for something public and something that doesn't require any API keys. So I just went to the network and I realized that they have some feed this data being taken from events. I guess it's over here now. Yeah, basically, and took it. So as it was something pretty easy, could be done differently. Yeah. And the next question you had was whether it's possible to build an aggregator, right?
I mean, I guess surely it's possible, right?
Yeah.
Maybe more of like a question for Manav about, like who would be building this and why would they want to do it as an unstoppable app?
Yeah. So why would you build this? So this is more of like a kind of instead of it's a second order derivative of a prediction market, I guess.
Yeah.
Right. So you can kind of think of it as you can do more of like a this was more of like a basic product, but you can kind of do an option where if you wanted to, instead of like you just be buying yes or no on a market, you can buy a call option that like, okay, like you are you have the right to buy this like at 55%. If it's a call option, you're buying the right to buy at 55% regardless of where the price goes. So it's just kind of more of a second order derivative. So I thought that would be an interesting thing, since like the first order derivative is very popular, right? That's like a natural thing to it. And then you can kind of, it's more of instead of a discrete thing where or where you're getting the whole range of a market, where 55, 56, like you're kind of you would be betting on in this case, if you are doing a prediction market, you bet like, okay, yes, I want to buy Donald Trump at 55%. I think the chance is going to go higher. Instead of buying that, you're just betting that it's okay, it is going to go up at some point. You're just betting on up, down, or flat. That's kind of what, like, I guess different option strategies allow you to do. So that was kind of the inspiration for why you want to do it. But maybe for like markets that are very liquid, like the election one, a second order derivative would be something people would want.
Nice. I'm I have like less of a DeFi brain than I guess I'd like to admit. So yeah, thank you for going through that. So on that note, that was really dope. It was actually like a little quicker than I was expecting. So if you're watching and have questions in the chat, please remember to do that. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about what you could build next. So Manav, what do you think you'd like to see built with Rollkit? It could be prediction market, it could be completely unrelated. I'm curious what you're thinking of these days.
Yeah, for sure. So you can build. So this architecture, like what we kind of demonstrated, right? It was more of a traditional. This is an app on Celestia, so it's a what do you call a roll up, right?
Yeah.
So this is more built in the more traditional sense, where you have a centralized sequencer, which is like the in charge of publishing blocks all the time, and anyone can verify the chain by just looking at the DA layer, right? And then the state machine in this case, which is the EVM, right? So this is more of like a basic form right now. So you could build whatever you can right now build with like on an EVM in this case, but like how I see it evolving and what I want to see people build, like what we're unlocking is like the entire more of the design space. So instead of just a centralized sequencer, you can do more things like you can build more application specific chains where you can control the entire block building flow, like how your transactions make it to your chain. What determines the canonical set of transactions? That right now is being done by a centralized sequencer, right? But that is a very primitive, basic way on how things are done right now. But you can do more interesting things, like, for example, currently all these transactions are just like the centralized sequence is just batching all the transactions that are coming in, right? It could do something cooler where instead of a centralized sequencer, right, you are directly submitting your transactions to Celestia, and the chains like canonical set of transactions now would be determined, like how the ordering of those transactions happens would be determined based on whoever's the most active, for example, right? And in this application, instead of like, or you can also allow like sponsoring transactions where some transactions are free. You would only include a subset of people, and the state machine like considers the transactions free. So there's like this whole design space that right now we recently are sort of unlocking with something introduced called the sequencing API.
Nice.
So that's entirely programmable.
This is a sequencing API for Rollkit.
Yeah, it's a sequencing API for Rollkit. So how transactions make into the state machine, we kind of just made that entirely programmable. So we just made an interface for that. It's a very minimal one. So if you wanted to do a centralized sequencer, let's say for speed, you could still do that. You could also plug into a shared sequencer if you like. You could do a more primitive, what people call a base rollup, which is just take whatever transactions are on Celestia, and those are your transactions. But you can do something more, which is you can unlock, you can apply some sort of arbitrary ordering rule, or how you pick those set of transactions. So let's say you could allow like only a certain set of NFT owners to come and build, like send transactions to your chain.
Interesting.
Right? Or you could redistribute the revenue of your chain to the people who fit some certain condition.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then oracles as well. You could like what Yarik showed, right? Oracles right now, but with Skip Connect, it was like, okay, you can insert oracles prices top of the block, right, with the centralized sequencer doing that. But then instead, if you're just having a party or like a bunch of people like posting Oracle prices on some namespace on Celestia, your chain, like how you construct your chain, it would just be like putting Oracle prices from that namespace on top of the
Mhm.
block chain. So you can kind of compose different chains together as well. So I want to see that design space be like explored more. That's
Yeah.
one thing to see, and then have more application specific chains that like would tap into that instead of like just general purpose ones. I feel like we have like a plethora of general purpose VM chains.
Yeah.
So I want to see more of those, and some ideas are I want to see more like there's recently web proofs that people have been
What's a
uh,
web proof?
a web proof is like a way uh, to take an information or like prove a piece of information that you have off chain
Yeah.
using, let's say, an app you use like Spotify, right? Let's say
Interesting.
I am a top 1% listener of some artist,
Mhm.
and then it uses something called zk-TLS. So there's been a lot of people
Yeah.
kind of building zk-TLS stuff recently. So you can kind of prove that you were actually a top 1% listener of some artist on chain.
Mhm.
So like you have that primitive unlock, right? So you can now I want to see people using web proof so to be building applications on chain with this. So you can kind of uh, do this on the state machine where okay you can make a chain where okay like all the people who satisfy this criteria
Yeah.
where okay let's say it's top 1% of an artist and the artist wants to give all these top 1% people the ability to claim some merchandise, right?
Yeah.
And now you can make a chain with where there's no need for gas. It's just like whoever fits this criteria, only they can submit a transaction, and that gas is completely free for them. Like gas
Oh,
is
weird.
on chain primarily exists as a concept uh, just to prevent spam. But then if this list is small anyway, like the list of people who can verify that there's some condition, then you don't really need a notion of gas. So that's like something cool you can do where an
Interesting.
artist can come, yeah, and just enable like these people to claim some merchandise or like drop like an exclusive album cover, let's say, right? Things like that. Uh, those are some more things I want to see, like more of the intersection of web proofs and these like different ways to build chains.
Yeah.
That's very underexplored. Um, I want to see also some more like applications that don't necessarily need like more bridge independent apps. So something
What does that mean?
what does that mean? It's like where most of the value is like in is on this chain natively. So for
Yeah.
example, like the um, for example, there is this chain that's building a Rollkit called Lazy Chain, which is like this NFT community on Stargaze right now.
Yeah.
So it's like this chain is like just is acts as a platform for them to coordinate and do things together. Um, right now, how they would do is they would go on more traditional like Web2 platforms to coordinate. So this and the whole unstoppable aspect of Rollkit kind of makes them uh, like once this chain is like there on Celestia, like you cannot really stop it as long as someone's running a full node of the chain. So I want to see more of those things where of like different communities come and use Rollkit to more like build a chain to sort of coordinate between themselves and do things together. So like the artist example is like a way just for top 1% listeners of some artist to come and
Yeah.
do things together, right? So I kind of want to see more of those things. Yeah, and there's like a bunch of things that you would like that it would be interesting to do on chain. And another one that I want to see is like people to bring their high scores for certain games onto on chain using also something like a web proof, and then let like new games that are popping in or like coming up tap into this community of like people who are like already like they have proved that they're like top players of some game, some category, and if
Yeah.
a new game wants to bootstrap their initial set of users, they can kind of tap into this community. That's another like thing I want to see.
I actually
Love-
realized there's. Yeah. No, thank you. You were mentioning earlier, like certain holders of an NFT, for example, could be the only ones that can use the other chain, like the roll up. Is that something like you mentioned lazy chain? Is that something that like a sloth could basically interact on this lazy chain if they had the sloth?
Yeah, so that's something you could do. Like you can make it free for people who are sloth owners,
Yeah.
and the
Nice.
sloth ownership is kind of off chain in from this chain's perspective. It's on another chain, right? So you can kind of give certain privileges to sloth owners here, and you can even order the transactions so that like sloth owners get priority. So yeah.
Nice. We actually had a question from Ryan in the chat.
I think
And
it was
you
already
kind of
asked.
you kind of already answered it. I wanted to confirm if that was the answer, I guess. Can you name one concrete example of something you'd like to see with ZKTLS and what bringing the web proof into Rollkit looks like? I'm kind of curious on the second half of the question. I think you already described the Spotify example
Yeah.
as like the start, but what does that look like bringing it into Rollkit?
Bringing into Rollkit, you can either let web proofs just be like normal transactions, right?
Mhm.
People just submit that as the content of the transaction, and that allows you to do something new on the chain, like in the state machine. That's like one thing you can do. Another thing, which is like more underexplored, is like what I emphasized initially, is instead of the state machine, you can kind of bring it into consensus as well. So only people who can verify a certain web proof, maybe that's like a Sybil resistant thing, right? Maybe it's like your only people with a real passport can come
Okay.
in. Your ZK passport, for example, that's like also ZK TLS, that's an example of it. So only people with a real passport can come in and actually build blocks, or they can come in and that is like, it's like proof of, how there's proof of work, proof of stake, proof of whatever kind of things. This would be like proof of passport, right? So
Okay.
you would
Nice.
only people who have a passport can come in and do things, or you can also do it based on like certain privileges, right? Like only people, let's say your chain is very specific towards a particular country. You're building for a market in Southeast Asia, let's say, for like DevCon. So you can allow only people in Southeast Asia to come in and be be a block builder, or give them priority in how your transactions get ordered. Um, uh, and only like those set of people can be like you can grant certain privileges to them on how the chain is determined, basically. Uh, yeah. So
Yeah.
even before
Thank you.
that state machine. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for those examples. I guess the last question I have is, I noticed that you mentioned the sequencing API for Rollkit. I'm curious if there's anything else that y'all are working on right now that you can share anything about that's coming in the near future.
Yeah, so the sequencing API is something we kind of have been working with the last couple of months, but we're going to make going to make a release with the sequencing API and have an implementation for it, which would be the sequencer for now. But we're kind of going to invite people to contribute other implementations, like you can do based mode, or you can do kind of these more complicated like things that I described. That's
Yeah.
like another thing you could do, or also there's shared sequencers now, like Astria is live. So we have like a repo for that. So you can kind of describe your rule. And other things we're working on right now, the two main focuses we have are something which is called the execution API. So Rollkit historically only worked with this interface called the ABCI, and the most popular ABCI interface that exists is or like the ABCI state machine that exists is the Cosmos SDK.
Mhm.
There's also a Rust state machine by Penumbra called Synodarium, so you could also use that. But right now, like your state machine needs to follow this interface called the ABCI.
Yeah.
So that we felt like that was something that was like restricting us. And so we wanted to kind of just redefine our own interface, which is more generic, that can still be used for the SDK, Cosmos SDK, if people really want to use that, but also unlock other VMs from the EVM to like all other VMs that exist out there. So EVM, SVM, OVM, whatever. So
Yeah.
this unlock Rollkit to work directly with Reth, or directly with like a Move execution client, or directly with the SVM execution client.
Oh,
So
nice.
that's kind of what so we're working on that right now to unlock that. And then another thing is adding ZK IBC, which is like this IBC client which verifies execution proofs, so ZK proofs, instead of needing a validator set signatures. So we're working with the Celestia protocol team, the core protocol team, to have a trust minimized bridge from a Rollkit chain, which is right now a Rollkit plus Reth, so Rollkit EVM chain, to Celestia. So that's another focus. So you can have a trust managed bridge for assets. But those two are the main focuses, and then we'll go back to adding maybe more implementations of these. That's the new design space kind of mentioned.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both for your time today and for teaching us about Rollkit and about how to build an unstoppable app with Rollkit. I want to just leave some space for final comments or like final thoughts from either one of you, and then open the floor one last time for questions. But yeah, thank you everyone for coming today, and thank you Manav and Yarik for teaching us.
Of course. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, you're welcome. I don't see any questions. I think we're good to go ahead and close this down. If you do have any questions about Rollkit, I think the Telegram is the right place to go.
Yeah. What we would like to see is people saying what we should build next. And I think Mana pretty much covered all the details, so nothing to add from me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you both for your time again, and wishing everyone